sitting on my kitchen counter doing my makeup because the lighting is good and it just felt nice to sit here. I got this in a PR package. You guys know I keep it real. I usually never use any of my PR package products unless it's things that I absolutely love or the brands that I love. But this one, for some reason, I was like, let me just give it a try. It's the L'Oreal Lumi Glotion in medium glow. And I kind of want to show you guys how it looks because I was kind of shocked. So this is how it comes on, like that. I'm gonna do this side too. Look at that. Look. Like what? I literally called my sister and did the same thing with her 2 days ago, and I'm like, you need to go buy this because it's so good. She's like, I've had this. It's just in another color. I'm like, then why are you guys not telling me about these things? It looks like this like glow. It's really good. It reminds me a lot of this Say glow drops too. Very nice. I want to talk about a little bit about everything you guys ask me and relates to like food noise and how I deal with food noise in my journey. If you're new here and you didn't know, I used to have severe body dysmorphia. On top of that, I had extreme binge eating disorder for 4 years, lost my period for 2 of those years, went and got blood work done, testing, saw some of the best gynecologists in all of Europe, and I ended up getting medication to help stabilize my hormones and bring back my period, which kind of actually made me depressed. I never truly overcame the binge eating until I became pregnant, and then when I became pregnant, I was 110, 12 pounds. And then when I became pregnant, at the end of my pregnancy, I had gained 64 pounds and I was 176 pounds. I remember right before I went in to give birth. I ended up giving birth, and then when I gave birth at that time, I lived in Playa del Carmen. And if you've been in Playa del Carmen, Mexico, it is so humid and so hot over there, like super humid, super hot. And I ended up going every morning. I would run for an hour, 2 hours in the humidity. I would come back soaking wet. Like after I had put my daughter to bed, I would go to the gym, lift weights too. For some time, I started to lift weights, continued doing that until I reached 117 pounds. It took me exactly a year. And like 3 months, I would say, to get down to 117 pounds after my first pregnancy. And I mean, I literally busted my ass to get to that weight. I ended up getting pregnant with my second baby, and in that pregnancy, I ended up gaining the same amount of weight. I think maybe a little bit less. I think I gained like 62 pounds in that pregnancy. I was like 170 something pounds, 71 pounds right before I gave birth. It took me a year to lose the weight in my second pregnancy also. Maybe a little bit more than a year actually this time. But I ended up doing the same thing. I went in a strict calorie deficit. This is also when I started to film these what I eat in a day in a calorie deficit videos. This was in 2023, very early on. Nobody was doing it at this point on TikTok, and my videos were getting banned left and right because in one video specifically, I said that I use a calorie counter called caloriecounter.net. And it says that in order to lose 1.5 pounds to 2 pounds every week, a week and a half, I have to eat 840 calories to 900 calories. The internet went crazy. My entire account started to get flagged, and I stopped making those videos because I didn't want to lose my account, even though I wasn't taking TikTok very seriously at that point. I was just showing my progress and like what I'm eating and postpartum situation and like postpartum hair loss and stuff like that. Here's the issue with counting calories, in my opinion. It took me about a year and a half to lose the weight then too. I got down to 112 pounds naturally on my own at this point. And then what I noticed was that when I count calories, I start to obsess over food. That is when the food noise for me started to become louder and louder and louder, because when you're counting calories, you're constantly thinking about what you're gonna eat, how many calories you have left, make sure you don't go over your calories. Are you getting enough of this, enough of that? Are you incorporating? It becomes so tiring. Fine line between counting calories and having issues with food. I told myself, I'm like, how can I be in a calorie deficit but not count calories? Is that even possible? And that's where I came up with the idea of like eat till content, not till full. Obviously, I didn't come up with it. I came up with it on this app. But I'm not saying that that's like something new that I created. Eating till content, not till full. And I remember I used to go to restaurants, and when I felt like I wasn't hungry anymore, like I would take 4 or 5 bites, maybe 6 bites, and half my plate would finish. I would look at the other half and be like, am I still hungry? And I would say no. And so I would push the plate away. And you guys, it is okay to take your food home. It's okay to take it to a go and put it in your fridge and eat it the next day or eat it for dinner. Your food, I've said this a million times, will not grow legs and run away. I remember when people would leave comments in my comment section and were like, oh, you're so thin. You should eat something. You're so skinny. Go eat something. I thought that was like the biggest compliment. I remember like, I was like, oh my God, they think I'm so skinny. Like they think I'm small. Like for somebody who has issues over here, for somebody who his entire goal is to be thin and has body dysmorphia, they love comments like that. That's why I've always said, be very mindful with the comments you leave people, because the people who love these comments the most are the ones who have body dysmorphia and issues. I ended up losing the weight. When I lost the weight with my pregnancy, I cured my binge eating through my pregnancies, by the way. I had told myself, you know what, the only way to cure your binge eating is to allow yourself to eat everything and anything and stop counting calories, stop being so like restrictive, stop constantly thinking about food. This is your chance. I remember there was an influencer when I was in the deep dark end of my binge eating, when I was in, I think it was like 2013, 2014, when I was living in Barcelona. There was this girl on YouTube who was just starting to talk about stuff like this. And I felt like she was one of the only people that understood the struggle and was so open about it. I think her name was like Stephanie Buttermore or Stephanie something. I can't remember, honestly. But like she helped me so much through all of it. And because of her, I told myself when I get pregnant, this is my chance to allow myself to eat everything and cure this issue that I have. It literally worked so well for me. So I ended up eating more, and obviously as a result, I gained a lot of weight, and I was okay with it. Like I gained all the weight, and I told myself by the time in my pregnancy, I had eaten so much that by the time I was in my last trimester, I was so over food. I was so tired of food because I knew it was accessible to me. There was no restrictions. I can eat it and get it whenever I wanted it. There was no good food, bad food list. I wouldn't punish myself if I overeat, because when I was in a binge eating cycle, you guys, I would have this list of hail to the null foods, and then I would have this list of, okay, these are safe to eat. And anytime I would eat out of my safe food list and in the hail to the null food list, I would literally feel like so bad. I would feel like my world was crashing down. I'm like, oh my God, I ruined my progress. I ruined my diet. I ruined everything I've worked so hard for. Now I'm gonna become this. Now I'm gonna gain weight. And I would punish myself. The next morning I would go work out. I would walk 30 to 40,000 steps. I would walk all of Barcelona in one day. And then at the same time, I would work out. I would undereat. I would starve myself for days and days because I was punishing myself for eating like one thing out of my list. And then if I would eat something out of that, my hail to the null food list, it would trigger me, and I would just be like, you know what? I ruined the day. I might as well just eat everything. I would eat stuff that I didn't even like just because I was gonna eat it. And that is, I think, one of the worst things ever, honestly. That was a really hard time and a hard stage of my life, and like battling that by myself, because at that time I was living by myself also in a foreign country. Like nobody was there with me at that time. It was hard. It was really, really hard. I can't believe I did this whole thing without a mirror, like just my camera. Anyways, so a lot of you asked me how I got my period back. I started eating. I stopped putting my body in a lot of stress, that constant fight or flight mode that you put your body in when you're constantly thinking about food and your next meal and how many calories is in it. You should count the calories, blah, blah, blah. That on its own is so consuming, like mind consuming. And then at the same time, so I got my period back then. And then after I healed my eating, after I healed and resolved my issues with food, I started to lose more weight, just naturally. Just eating till I was content, not till full. I became more self-aware of my stomach. I became more self-aware of like, okay, this is my limit. This is good, we're good. Hey, like my brain, I had set my brain and body to a point where it'd be like, okay, Sonia, we're good now. That's enough, like we're good. You can eat the rest later or tomorrow. And that on its own, I helped so much. And yeah, so now I don't have food noise. I eat. You guys often ask me, what do you do when you have period cravings? I am like a day or two away from my period. I eat. When I have period cravings, I just eat, because I know that when I get my period, I'm also one of those that completely loses my appetite, and so it balances itself out. I will say something though. Losing weight, the process of weight loss is the easy part. The maintaining it and keeping it off is the more difficult part of it. Like, it's like that in anything you do in life, even in business. Starting my business was the fun part. The process of opening my business, acquiring everything that I needed for my business, that was the fun part, the best part. The hard part is maintaining it. The hard part is keeping it. The hard part is getting it to go and flow the same way, like keeping it consistent. It's always, the journey is always the best part. And then when you get there, it becomes. Anyway, this video was like 1,000 minutes. If you truly stayed throughout this entire video, you're a real one. I kind of like doing my makeup over here on this counter. Do we like this? Maybe we could like pick topics every week and like do a topic. Kind of want to talk about marriage and divorce and stuff like that too. And then I want to talk about business and how I started my business, what it takes, what it doesn't take, like what I did wrong, what I wish I knew before I started. If you guys want to know that too, let me know. I'm down. Anyways, I love you guys.